Okay, girls, welcome back to our part 2 of the video. How do scientists answers question? Now, scientists are very creative. When they want to find an answer, they use different materials and then they compare it to other materials. In the first video, I have shown you different materials such as they use different surface and then a ruler and then a ball. Now, if the scientist is so creative, he will use a plastic tube. Why? Okay, because maybe a plastic tube will give a different answer to its experiment. Okay, it says here, what if the scientist only said to drop the ball from a table? Okay, from a table. Other scientists may not have tables that are the same height. Some scientists might push the ball off to the table and other might just let it drop. This could lead to different results. Using a meter stick to measure the exact height eliminates the differences created by the table. And some scientists wants to drop it with the plastic tube because a plastic tube it could control the wind and then the air. Okay, at the same time it could also produce a friction. So that is how scientists think in a different way. They want to prove that this thing could affect the bounce of the ball. At the same time, if you use different materials, it could give you different answer. Like, I know you love slime. Sometimes you do slime with persil. Sometimes you use it with other soap. Sometimes you use different kinds of glue. Some will use transparent glue. Some will use the white glue. Some will use a different kind of glue. Some will use borax. Some will use toothpaste. Some will use soap. So some will use toothpaste. Okay, so different materials will give you different answers and results also. So let's go here in number 8. Sometimes tests like this are done by dropping the ball inside a clear plastic tube. How would that make the experiment better and how could it make it worse? So possible answer is a clear plastic tube could keep the ball bouncing at the same angle, okay? But it could add friction that would affect the result. Okay, because the surface of this area is a little bit small, then that causes friction. Friction is the rubbing, okay, rubbing of two objects together. So because since this is small, it could create a friction inside. Okay, now, so this is the picture of the experiment that they are doing. So they use a plastic tube and then they use the three types of surfaces. Now, scientists also observe and find evidence. Evidence is information. Okay, scientists take careful observation and find answer to their question. Taking measurement is one way of scientists can make observations. Scientists use evidence to decide whether their hypotheses are correct. Okay, so one of the observation that they do is they observe it in a different surface, right? So they graph it. So the green one here represents the carpet measurement. The red one represents the wood. And then the blue one represents the rubber. Okay, in testing number 1, in trial number 1, the ball bounces in carpet in 10 centimeter, while in the wood, it bounces 70 centimeter, while in the rubber, it bounces in around 15. It's in the middle of 20 and 10, so maybe it's 15. In trial number 2, so they test it in second try. Okay, the ball bounces in carpet higher than 10, so maybe this is 11. Now, in the wooden, it become around 68 because it's here. It's under 70, 68, or 69. And then in uh, rubber, it become higher compared to this one, okay? So it become 20. Now, in trial number 3, the ball bounces lower than 10. So this is in carpet. In wood, it become lesser compared to this 2, okay? And then in rubber, it become lesser to this one. So what can we conclude? Okay? What would you observe in the bouncing ball experiment? I would observe how high the ball bounces. So what will be the highest in this? Okay, the ball bounces higher in the wooden surface. Because if you observe in test number 1, the highest is the wooden surface. Same here, the wooden surface. Same here. And then the lowest here is the carpet. Same here, the carpet. Same here, the carpet. The second will be the rubber. The second here is also rubber. The second here is rubber. Okay, although they find different numbers, but still the highest is the wooden surface. That is how scientists do their experiment. They try and try again to find a exact answer. Now, let's proceed to this page. Estimate and measurement. When we say estimate, okay, we get not the exact number, but the nearest number to the whole number. Okay, estimate usually a number with decimal number. Like this. This is the exact number, right? 70. But the estimate of that one, okay, is a number that is not in a whole number like 70. Like here, it could be 69 or it could be 69.5. Okay, same also here, it could be 65.5, 65.4. So when you have the point, you could estimate the answer. You could estimate it to the nearest whole number. What is the whole number nearest to this one? It's 70, right? So they estimate and measure. Scientists often make estimates. They tell what they think an object size, mass, temperature will measure. Now, if I ask you example, what is the size of the ball? You didn't see it, you didn't touch it, you didn't measure it, but you could say an estimate. It's kind of medium size. So that word kind of medium is just as estimation. What is the size of the ruler? Okay, you could say it's a long ruler. Okay, as long as my arm, as long as my leg. Okay, that is an estimation. Okay, but is it good to use an estimation? Yes, it's good sometimes to use an estimation, but it's better to be exact. Usually scientists measure in metric unit. So they metric unit meaning they use with units like centimeter, meter, millimeter. So this is very important to be an exact number. Now, multiple trials. Why they use in multiple trials? Multiple meaning they try it many times. They try it many times, as I've mentioned, to get an exact number. At the same time, they have a comparison. Let's go here. Analyze. Do 3 trials give enough evidence to show which surface makes the ball bounce the highest? Why or why not? Yes. Having 3 tests here makes you say that the wooden surface is the best surface to bounce the ball. Okay. Now, let's go to the next page. Scientists also use model. What are the types of the model? Okay, model could be a 3 dimension. Example of a model is the world globe. Okay, so this is a globe. So this is an example of 3 dimensional. When we are saying about 3 dimensional model, it has a length, it has a width, it is also have height. Model are not exactly the same as the real thing. Like example, the experiment of volcano model. We use the model to see how the volcano is erupting at the same time to know the parts of the volcano. That is not a real volcano, but that is just a replica or a model. This model of Earth shows the location of the Earth's land and water here. Okay, so 3 dimension has length, width, and height. Number 11. What are two and other example of 3-dimensional models? Possible answer, diorama of the forest. Okay, the model of the forest. It could be 2-dimensional, at the same time a model of an airplane. When we are talking about 2-dimensional model, it means that it has length and width only. It's a flat. Okay, like a drawing. This is a drawing of a classroom. It has a width. It also have a height. I will repeat. It has a width and it also have a height, but it doesn't have. Sorry, it has a length and it has a width, but it does not have a height like this one. It has 3 components: length, width, and height. But this one is a flat. Okay, so in number 11, that is the answer. A diorama of forest, a model of the forest, a model of an airplane with moving parts. This is an example of 2-dimensional. Now, explanation. After getting all of the information, getting all the data, after doing the experiment, you need to explain it. The explanation will also tell whether the hypothesis was supported by the data. We cannot give an answer without a support of evidence. Evidence is a very important thing for you to answer a question. We cannot say an answer without an evidence. Like many of you are asking, teacher, do dinosaurs exist? And then I said, yes, dinosaurs do exist because we have fossil. That fossil is an evidence that dinosaurs do exist long time ago. Okay, so I need to explain that one with a supported information. The supported information is the fossil. I could only say, yes, they exist before. But what is your evidence, teacher? The evidence is the fossils. Okay? So summarize. What was the hypothesis in bouncing ball experiment? Did the data support the hypothesis? The answer is hypothesis was that the ball would bounce higher on a rubber ball. That is our first guess before, that the rubber is the best surface that ball could bounce because rubber is flexible. But in the actual experiment, the wood is the highest, right? Now, in number 14, name 3 methods of scientists might use investigate a question or a problem. They may do an experiment, build a model, or do a survey. Last, why do you think evidence is important in a science? Evidence is important because others can make same observation to find whether hypothesis is reasonable or not reasonable. As I mentioned, evidence is a proof of your answer. Okay? So I hope you learned a lot today, girls. Probably tomorrow I will post a short experiment. I will do a kitchen experiment and then you will observe what will happen. You will do an hypothesis at the same time you will conclude. Okay, girls, see you tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone.